So we're back. It's your man, Coach Block. I am here with
your girl So Fab. Hey, y'all.
And to my right, you all's left, we have. We're gonna. Am I doing the introduction?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want you both to do it.
Okay. Anjanette Miller, the plug of all plugs, CEO of C.E.O. nonprofit here in Durham. But when I tell you she is the connector, the facilitator, I promise you, I have not met anyone so humble, but know so many people before in my life. When I met Ari, one of the students, she said, Anjanette knows everybody. And you always go, yeah, okay. No, she didn't lie. Anjanette knows everybody. So here we are with Anjanette Miller right here at the table. And she's also my new boss.
Look at that.
Which she probably hates that I just did that, but it's okay.
No, actually, when we get into like C.E.O. and our whole mindset and just what keeps us grounded is the whole entrepreneurs building entrepreneurs is I wanted you to tell your story because you're right. Like I know a lot of people and there are several people that I met that helped me do that, right? That introduced me to people or said, oh, Anjanette, I need you to meet this person because this person does this. And so just collecting people because as entrepreneurs, that's what we need.
Yes.
Like somebody's going to come to me and say, I don't know how to do financials. I'm like, me either. But I know people who do, right? So at some point, I do want you to tell your story and how I'm your coworker and also boss.
And mentor. Because one day, if it wasn't for her, one day when I was doing the jamboree, I had a breakdown. I came in like, so how do you deal with people who are just trying to grab things from you and don't have any vested interest in the bigger picture? She's like, just let them have their space. They're just trying to get in, Ken. Relax. Because I'm like, I swear, if I get one more call, I was over it. But having that mentor that was able to separate and be like, look, let me tell you what you need to do, boss. Let's not take it personal. Like that was the biggest take I took away from it. It's like, don't take it personal. You have something that's good and people want to attach to it. It's not a bad thing. So I had to take a step back like, okay, all right, I won't get pissed because I'm telling you, the next phone call that comes through, it's not going to be Coach Block, it's going to be Ken, and now we're on. But I digress. Here we are, and the one thing that we told you in the beginning of this segment is that C.E.O. is sponsoring the segment that we have, the plug, and the reason why is because we have this great event that is going to be coming up called the Deep End, which is the capital campaign that we're having. And there's stories. There's so many stories that we're going to be talking about. So there's a lot of interviews. And that's why we wanted Sally to be in first. And we want Anjanette to be in first because they're going to take us to a plethora of other people. So what I wanted to start with first is the three pillars that we're really going to be talking about with other people who come on, which is the tailored learning, access to capital, and the trusted relationships. How did you get those things and how did they get curated? How did you come up with this? Because there's so much going on in C.E.O. How were you able to put it in those three tiers and columns?
Well, it definitely was a bit of a journey to kind of define it that way. And I'll start with early on. So I moved to Durham in 2019. I took over a youth entrepreneurship startup nonprofit from a Duke student in early 21. And as I entered then into, we merged and we entered into like this continuum starting at age 13 through adulthood. So I'm introduced into the adult space and recognizing, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I never called myself that. I owned my own business for 20 plus years. I had been selling art and things. And like, I'd been an entrepreneur my whole life and I never called myself that. So having the recognition at 50 of like, oh, I am this. And then really looking into this kind of cottage industry of an entrepreneurial support organization. That didn't exist when I started my business in 2000. You had the SBTDC and you could go to the community college and you could meet with very well-meaning volunteers that would help you with like your business plan and your things, right? But there weren't entrepreneurial support organizations. So as I'm looking and learning about this and talking to people, there were these kind of three main obstacles for people that were struggling to make a go. So access to quality education, access to quality mentorship or coaching, and then access to capital. Then I started thinking, oh, all of the ESOs and a lot of service providers and a lot of like the SBTDC and like a lot of that, it's really easy to do the first two, right? It's really easy to curate some quality education and put together a network of some quality coaching or mentoring, sometimes free, sometimes low entry, sometimes expensive. It's really, really hard to get in that access to capital.
Yes, absolutely.
I was just talking to one of our ECHO entrepreneurs outside on the street before coming in, and we were talking about this exact thing. Everybody knows it takes money to make money.
Absolutely.
Period. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to give away their money. Nobody's giving So when we say access to capital, then it's almost just like banks and CDFIs. And if you have a startup, venture capital and finding your investors. But what about just some easy get paid to do a thing? Right. Get paid to share your talents, your skills, your knowledge with others. So I started playing around with all of that, and we flipped our model as well to be user-centered. I want you, who are both entrepreneurs, on the ground doing something right now, right? My experience is a little different as like a startup nonprofit, slightly different, and I'm a little bit farther along maybe than other entrepreneurs. I want you all to inform me. What do you need? Like the entrepreneur that I met with earlier, she was like, we need this. We started even thinking about menus because we're all different and in different places. So maybe you come in and you're like, I don't need an appetizer, right? I've already done that. I'm 8 years in. I don't need an app. I don't even need the entree. I need some dessert. I need some dessert, and I want to make sure the dessert is good, that there's quality to it. So thinking about then that tailored learning, it's not superficial. It's brought to you. Come to me and say, oh man, I need help with financials. I go find somebody in our network. Hey, we've got a bunch of entrepreneurs that are really needing help understanding financial narratives or how to even get started. And we build a program, we stand it up, everybody comes, learns the things. And then we're also wanting to kind of build that if you come to think there's always a deliverable, you accomplish something, you cross something off your list. So that's that tailored learning. It's from the ground up.
Yes. And you actually went into one of the things that I wanted to talk about, which I think is unique. And I like it because I didn't look at it until you said, I don't like panels. And then Kim also was like, yeah, they're a waste. And so panels. Can you discuss, like, when we talked about the deliverables, those are things that, we definitely want to make sure anybody who gets involved with us, there's something that you're going to have tangible out of it. But can you talk to the crowd about, why you're not a fan of panels, and then the deliverable aspect that you want to bring into anything that we do at ECHO?
For sure. So to clarify, I'm not anti-panel. There is a time and a place for them. But if that's all that's kind of offered, if we want to stand up access to capital, right, and we want to build something to help entrepreneurs, a panel does not do that. And even accomplishing what you may want to accomplish with a panel of like bringing in different guests from different sectors, right? So bringing in someone from a CDFI, bringing someone in from a bank, maybe an investor, an angel investor, or a venture capitalist, bringing people in, but have them be in conversation and not at. That's very kind of one way, a panel. But there is a place for it. But I always want there to be something then after. So now it's kind of like the now what? Right. Now what? So I've learned about this and I met some people. Now what? And I'm going to refer back to the entrepreneur I've just met outside on the street. That's what they did today. She and her partner went and talked to banks today just to kind of learn what was going on, and kind of were treated dismissively. So what ECHO could do when we're talking about like that depth and anti-panel is I know people at CDFIs and I know people at banks, and so can ECHO cultivate a deeper relationship, organization to organization, so that when we have entrepreneurs that are looking to build banking relationships, we make that introduction. We are helping the bank understand where the entrepreneur is and what the bank is going to need, and vice versa. We're helping the entrepreneur understand what does the bank need. And then connecting them with people that could help them move the needle. So I want ECHO to be, again, in that space of tailored learning, so standing up programs that move the needle, have deliverables. You're leaving anything we do, crossing something off your list.
Absolutely.
Or moving closer. And then the trusted relationships. So the kind of near peer that, like Sally, I don't know if Sally talked about that.
We didn't get to it.
Oh my gosh. Talk about like this kind of master connector. But Sally, here's the thing. And then she's like, oh, I can help you.
Yep.
So Sally's in our current cohort, the Roots to Results. And we have 12 people in the cohort. And she's probably hung out with all of them outside of the class and either patroned their business. Is that the right word? Patronized?
Patronized.
Right. Their business or help them with a LinkedIn profile because she loves doing that, or provided them advice. Like she's connected with everybody. And a lot of our entrepreneurs in this cohort have done that. So that's that trusted relationship that you could count on someone else. There's a space so you could be vulnerable and say, I don't know how to use Facebook.
Right.
What's a Facebook group? How do you do that? And somebody could say, I know how to do that. Right. And then also can ECHO as the infrastructure build the trusted relationships with other organizations that they come in and they're helping and providing services. And that we're all just entrepreneurs building entrepreneurs. We're just all there for one another, holding each other accountable, trying to just always do better, be better.
The one thing that we have been collectively doing is just researching other businesses in this space, other nonprofits in this space. And what I have not come across yet is the youth aspect.
Right.
What was the trigger for you to say, we're also going to incorporate youth? Because I don't see anybody else that's specifically targeting youth with entrepreneurship. They may dibble dabble in some programming, but you literally, I got adult programming, I got youth programming. So what triggered it to say, no, we're going to include the youth?
So in 22, I had been 1 year in as the executive director of a youth entrepreneurship program that grew out of Duke University. And I took over for that founder, that student at Duke once he'd graduated. But it had gone through a pilot. It had one other cohort before the pandemic, and it had legs and people liked it. And I met this founder, Quincy King is his name, and he happens to still be on our board. Shout out to Quincy. We had met at a different function where he was doing an advert, and I was like, I love what you're doing here, and I would love to help. So came on, he was like, how much do you want help? Because I need an ED and I don't have any money. So I was like, okay, I don't know. So got involved with that. And 1 year in, we knew that we were going to receive some federal grant money to kind of pilot this idea of a YMCA meets Techstars, but for teens. So this idea of cultivating and building an entrepreneurial mindset, introducing them to startup space and social innovation, but also just a safe third space. So we knew we were going to get that grant. And we also knew there was an adult entrepreneurship program that was deeply rooted in Durham that was working with adults that we categorized it as necessity-driven entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So those entering into entrepreneurship at the lowest barrier point, right? Often working other jobs, some making less than fair living wage. And we started talking at first in some capacity building. I wanted their curriculum for our students, anybody who had a business they wanted to start, right? We could use their curriculum. But then the board started talking and the ED started talking about what if we built a continuum? What if we built from at the time it was high school and up. We extended that 1 year later. Once we merged 1 year later, we started opening up to middle school students. And here's why. What we saw with the adults is that although they had entrepreneurial mindsets, like the resiliency, right? That opened opportunity, just the doggedness and the passion, all of that was there. They still were entering in like small growth, Main Street businesses that it's so much harder. It's just so much harder. And often because they'd never been invited into, right, networks or opportunities or space to grow something that would be a trending or high growth business, right? In that startup space. Almost like me, I developed a software my business that I owned in Dallas. Part of it was an educational advocacy. So it was one-on-one and small group, and we went into schools. And at one point I had some graduate students that were computer science majors. And they were like, Anjanette, you know that thing that you go to the schools and you kind of train the teachers how to do things? We could put that on a platform.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. I don't know how to do that. Like, do you know how to do that? They were like, of course we know how to do that. We can't do what you do, but we could put it on a platform.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they did. And I was like, okay, you do it. And like, we'll figure out how to sell it or whatever. And then we did. And then it got acquired. I didn't even know that was a word to talk about, like software getting acquired or a venture getting acquired. I didn't even know that till I moved here. Now I know all the jargon, but I sold it. I sold it. It's shelved now because it was around like SAT, ACT stuff. But like, there are entrepreneurs that, just doing a service like I was, just educational advocacy, meeting with parents, with teachers, with kids, and then had an opportunity, was invited into some startup space. So watching that and watching how hard that was for adult entrepreneurs. Then we look at the kids that were participating in the youth programming. Historically, those students, when we think about like the tracking we were doing around, it was a membership model. So if your family qualified for free and reduced lunch, you could join the program for free. 90% of students that were participating year after year were qualifying for free and reduced lunch, or the families would qualify. So demographically, they could have been the children of the adults.
Yeah.
Right.
They only wanted to do startup. They only wanted to get involved in social innovation. They didn't call it that, right? They weren't saying, oh, I want to develop a fintech app, right? They didn't know that, but they wanted to solve that kind of problem in that way. And so my long-term bet is, if we're working with 13 to 22-year-olds and we're providing some quality education, we're providing exposure, like our students every year, at least once a year, maybe twice, 3 times a year, they're having dinner with Mayor Williams.
That's awesome.
They just sit down with the mayor, which even to me is a big deal. And I've talked, I've known him for a number of years now. He's a huge supporter of our program. Shout out Leo. But like for a 13-year-old or 15-year-old to know and move through their life
access.
So, and then maybe meet with other founders, other people who've started, so they feel comfortable walking in space, asking someone for help, or, like shouting out their idea, like, I want to do a thing. And people are like, that's cool. And then the last part is the experience. So we know youth, even if they're interested in starting something, they're very busy and they may be engaged in other things. Maybe they're, an athlete or in band or engaged in other extracurricular. So as an adult founder, it takes forever to get something up off the ground, right? So they don't have kind of the staying power to like make it happen. But if ECHO could stand up an initiative and then hire some teen innovators or some teen leaders to experience entrepreneurship, to do the project tracking, to even set that up, to create a budget, to create the marketing, to write the impact reports, to actually implement the program, right? If we can do that, my long-term bet is then those youth, as they grow into adults, will engage in entrepreneurship in a different way. And be more comfortable and feel like they belong there.
Absolutely.
That's what we're doing. So right now, 2 years post-merger, we're in this space of trying to build that circular economy. We have youth that are helping some of our adult entrepreneurs. We have adults who are mentoring or supporting or hiring our youth, right? How do we do more of that? How do we then make that available to anybody?
And that kind of feeds off of the question that I was going to ask you, because anyone who is even thinking about possibly being an entrepreneur, we all know it starts with an idea.
Right.
And oftentimes people won't move forward because they're intimidated, or they don't know where to go. They don't have the resources. They get overwhelmed, or they just don't have that belief in themselves. So for the individual who's saying, I have an idea, I don't know what to do, how can ECHO help that person, or just put the puzzle pieces together for them?
I don't think that that's an uncommon experience for anybody that's dabbled in entrepreneurship, right? And I think a lot of us are drawn to entrepreneurship to have some agency, right, around our lives, our futures. Yeah. So I have an idea. I want to start something, but I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. So ECHO, for sure, just having conversations with us. So reaching out to Echo, talking to Ken, talking to myself, because Ken works for us now. Having a conversation. We had an entrepreneur come in the other day who participated in a program last year. So she was in a cohort, this 10-week cohort. She also we kind of teed her up for a grant. She was able to receive a grant, and she came into the office just to get some advice. And 4 of us were like on that. So she's asking for help around some media and website. And so we're connecting her with our marketing manager, and Sally was there. So Sally was helping out with some HR questions. So it's having the conversation, building relationships. And then there's a way that we could help navigate the resources out there, because we're not the only ESO in town. ESO is Entrepreneurial Support Organization, by the way. It's another jargony word. And also it is a cottage industry, y'all. Like this didn't exist. So we're still trying to figure it out, and like what industry standards and how do we do better, be better. But we could help, because I have, since becoming CEO, it's been very important to me that Echo is part of the conversation here in the triangle, part of the entrepreneurial support conversation. I don't want to have programming or events or things that are duplicative or on top of someone else, right? I'd rather that if E3 Durham is doing a particular program or a thing, I want us to build before or after for them.
Absolutely.
Right? How can we help on that conversation, and that we're always part of either a collective, like on purpose, or collaborative on purpose. So building relationships. So we're, like Ken said, and I am really proud of like the connections and being able to throw out, like, I don't know if you know this person, but I may know this person, or can you introduce me to this person? But reaching out and going, Kim, we need you to help this person. The same thing around what programming's out there, when to get involved. There is a group of about 12 to 15 other either service providers or entrepreneurial support organizations that are intentionally trying to work together to build that continuum. So reach out. Ken's great on the fly. He's made people cry this week in gratitude. I don't know the last time I made someone cry in gratitude. Yeah. So I know it will give out information, all that, but we're open all the time. We're also one of the only programs or nonprofits that's kind of year round. We stand stuff up all the time. My board, I think, gets a little bit of whiplash. Sorry. Because an opportunity is presented, or entrepreneurs are saying, oh man, like and I'm like, okay, we'll just, stand up a thing. So it's hard to even say, this is our calendar, and every 10 weeks we do this accelerator, or every year we have this program. We're kind of adapting. We're just year round. You can engage with us at any time.
So I have a question, and this is like a genuine question. So it's not scripted. This one is just kind of on my heart. The one thing I've noticed is working with you and being in just relationship with entrepreneurs, you literally talk about trusted relationships more than you talk about capital. It's like, we'll get to the capital, but the relationship piece is like priority. Like, we can get to the money, we'll find the money, but you drill into us about the relationship building and the connections that we have. Why is that so important to you, just to make sure like the entrepreneurs know that they're supported, and it's not just about money, but also about these relationships?
There's one connection between your community and access to capital, right? The more community that you have, and the relationships that you've built, and the people that you are kind of pulling into your circle, like it's these orbits of, like, so we have Echo and TDS radio, there's kind of orbiting, and occasionally we're like colliding, like to build that. It's just a numbers game. Eventually we're going to bump into someone that has access to capital, or like, I'd like to give you some money because I really like the work you're doing, right? So there's that. I also know, and I think everybody feels this. And if you pause for a minute and just think about where you are and you evaluate some successes that you've had, whatever it is, not necessarily in work, but in your personal relationships or in school or whatever it is, right? You didn't do it by yourself.
Right.
You did not do it by yourself. I love to think about not just like the formal relationship of somebody that you went to with the ask, right? Or you were engaged in a class or a program or a thing. And so you were engaged in that way. I love the accidental like opportunities, accidental collisions of like, so I'll tell one story. This is years ago. I was in Dallas and I was at a gala and just sitting there. It was my partner at the time. It was like his law firm. And then, so I ended up sitting next to a stranger, a woman who also had her own business. So it was a counseling business. She was an LPC and she had her own practice and she had other practitioners with her. It was really cool. So we're looking at each other's websites and just sitting there at this gala. And she's looking at mine and she was like, "Oh, your prices are too low. Your prices are too low." And I'm like, "Well, and like kind of equivocating, trying to like defend my decisions and the pricing. And that was it. Then the night went on. We never saw each other again. But I did think about it. And I thought, I wonder if that's true, and did a little bit of market research. It had been a while since we had changed our pricing. So I did make some adjustments. It changed everything. Right. We all know like the exponential growth that can happen by just raising, right, just a little here or there. It allowed me to, we got more clients so we could hire people who could do the work that I was doing to get me out of the way, right, to grow the business. It changed everything. And it was, so I want to create more opportunity for that to happen and not on accident. Right? Of these collisions of people talking to each other about their business. Like you said, like someone to come in and say, "I have this idea," and be surrounded by other people that also are going through that or went through that recently. Like, I hear you. This is where I started. This is the experience I had. Not just relying on me. I'm not an expert other than I have a few years experience. That's it. Nobody gets a PhD in entrepreneurship. This is not a thing. Right. Although there are universities now that are wanting to like, you can major in entrepreneurship, which is great, but it is the lived experience.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then finding other people like that. So I think there's that. I know for sure I would not be here I am today without people that really cared about the work that I was doing or cared about me as a person or cared about, right, the impact that we were making. And so some of these things are so cliche, like we're better together and all that, but it's all true.
But it's true.
It's all true. Yeah.
So then where do you see the Durham ecosystem with entrepreneurship, like within the next like 3-5 years? Like where do you see that going? And then Echo's footprint in it?
We are actively working on an eco map. So as a collective, so again, there are 12 to 15 committed organizations to do work on building, again, this like continuum or this path. So there's a website, everybody, you could go to, because you can register your business, you could join, everything's free. So if you have a business, it's NC, like North Carolina, EEM.org, NCEAM.
Put it in the chat.
.org. This is an eco map. So you can go in and you could search if you're looking for entrepreneurial support, if you're looking for events, if you're looking for a service provider, you can search there for help. You can narrow that down by region. So we are working with the eco map builder to make sure that that is a quality map. And then for Durham, create some curated lists. Where's the money? Where are the events? Where, if you are a niche entrepreneur, so if you're a creative entrepreneur, where are those resources? Where do you access that? If you're a service provider. So we are working, and this is based on some strategic planning that we were engaged for a couple of years and kind of creating a strategic plan for all of the ESOs. So I'm hoping in and sooner than that, I'm really hoping in 18 months, we have a really clear interactive map to, like Kim's question. If you're a brand new entrepreneur with just an idea and I maybe like, where do you start? I would love for there to be like some type of virtual visual that you can click on and look, and it stays updated and we're all working together. Additionally, that we're talking to one another and building programs that add to the conversation and allow one organization to do a startup weekend and then allow another organization to build the accelerator afterward. Let another organization really focus on the capital, and that we're doing it together. And I hope that's where we get. Durham, man, I love this town. It is my chosen home. And just this rich history and the pride that we take. I mean, if you think about downtown, and we don't have a chain down here.
Right.
There are a lot of problems with downtown. There's some issues here for sure, but I think most cities have it.
Absolutely.
And you feel like it's super important and super personal,
right,
and a big deal because you're living in it. But a lot of small cities face this. Austin went through, made this kind of major shift. So I'm really proud of the decisions that Durham has made to keep it entrepreneurial. It's one of the reasons why we want to make sure that ECHO stays downtown, mostly for the youth.
Right.
I don't want to be over in, a neighborhood. I don't want to be close to a school because then it becomes specific to that neighborhood.
Correct. Yeah.
Downtown, the roots are deep, and I want to respect it, and I want to build on it. All the things. Yeah. So I'm hoping that's where we are.
With ECHO having the idea of being the entrepreneurial type YMCA, do you see ECHO in other cities?
For sure. For sure. I would love to see not ECHO in other cities. I would like to see ECHO supporting other cities, building their own community center. I don't want ECHO to think that we have the answer. Right? We don't have the answer for my hometown is Detroit. I was born, all my family's Detroit. We moved to Texas when I was young, but Detroit's home. I would not want to go into Detroit and tell Detroit how to do ECHO. Right.
That would be the same way with Pittsburgh. You're not coming in Pittsburgh telling them how to do.
No. Yeah. But there is some secret sauce on some of the work that we've done. And so whether it's the youth to adult, whether it's the user-centered model, whether it's we're positioning ECHO more as a social enterprise. So that work for nonprofits to be sustainable and last through all of these changes, no matter what the administration is, right? Or the direction philanthropy is going. Nonprofits struggle to be sustainable, right? So are there ways to position yourself in kind of that social enterprise space without changing your 501c3 status? If we've kind of figured out some of the ways that made that possible for us, then is there a way that we could open source a playbook and then provide any type of consultative services to a Detroit or to a Pittsburgh if someone there would like for an ECHO to exist?
Right.
That's what I would love.
Great idea. So before we get you out of here, though, let's talk about the deep end. That's a big deal. It's a huge deal. So let's talk about the deep end and what it is and what's coming up, and then how people can be a part of it and donate to it and all the things.
I'm so excited about the deep end. I'm so excited. We really want this end of year party to feature community. So it is a fundraiser. Every nonprofit has to have one, right? Again, thinking about sustainability, right? We need funds to be able to continue to operate. And if we're the infrastructure and if we're building programs and connecting, So the deep end is really a play on the anti-Shark Tank, right? Because Shark Tank is kind of me against you, right? And that's not really how it works. Although, people do pitch and they do get money, so it does exist, but we want to be the anti-Shark Tank. So the deep end, no sharks, no tanks. It's also in that kind of disruptor space. I don't want Echo to be seen as, or we are engaging in as, a co-working space. There are plenty. We're sitting in one. Like, there's so many very cool, awesome co-working spaces in Durham. We don't need to be that.
Right.
That's not in conversation.
Right.
We could be the opposite of that. We are about programs and community. Not that co-working spaces aren't, but co-working spaces, they're space.
Right.
And there's programming that's extra. That's like an add-on, but essentially you're kind of a landlord. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I'd rather that we're a community center where the programming and the getting stuff done together is first. And then if you happen to need a chair and a seat for a minute, great. Or you need a locker to store your stuff, it's great. So the deep end, I want us to come together as community. I want entrepreneurs that not necessarily entrepreneurs that have gone through our program, and for them to come up and say, Echo was great, right? That's super helpful. But we've met with so many people, even just tangentially, of like what you said, like meeting me somewhere and me going, oh, maybe you should go over here. And I want you to meet this person. And they did, or they come back. So I want them to come and talk to the community around the power of this entrepreneurs building entrepreneurs and how they have been able to move ahead. I would love we have several kind of community champions coming to talk about the need for this, right? The need for community, and it to be activated and not just kind of buzzy, right? Your network is your net worth. Like, it's buzzy, and it is true, but I want to quantify it. I want to formalize it. I want to bottle it and make it happen over and over. So everybody's welcome. We'll put the website in the chat.
Absolutely.
The echo-nc.org.
Yes, come on, director. She said, get on it. Get on your job. Get on your job. Get on your job.
Right? You can buy a ticket. If you are listening and you would like to be a community champion, please reach out. You can reach out to Ken directly. You can reach out to Anjanette. However, we're going to put that in there, right? Because we would love to hear your story of why you think not Echo. This isn't Echo. We just want to be the vehicle. Again, we're the infrastructure, right? But if you believe that community, supporting each other, intentionally helping one another move the needle with small business and Main Street businesses, we want you there.
Yes.
You don't have to be on the dais and have a mic. You could just be there and meet our entrepreneurs, meet our teens that have started businesses, or meet our teens that lead our program through paid internships, meet our board, and just come be in community. I promise y'all there's going to be good food.
I know that's right.
And there's going to be some alcohol. Because everybody likes a little cocktail. It's on a Thursday night. So we'll just have a little cocktail, have a little snacks, some sweets by Ari Sugar Symphony.
Oh, yay.
My little Ari. You'll get to hear her story. Y'all, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. And it's just us all kind of holding hands and saying, let's go.
Well, you have to be there. So
yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I will join you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be there. Now, the one thing that we like to do with the plug before we get out of here is plug another business so that we can contact them and say, hey, Anjanette said tag, you're it. You're the next person on the plug. So who would you like to plug as far as an entrepreneur or even somebody who's a facilitator? Who would you specifically like to plug next?
So I'm going to go to another ESO because I could say an entrepreneur, you've got the list. Like we've got a list of all, anybody who's been involved in Echo over the years, you're welcome. And if you're listening and you're like, I want to make sure I'm on that list, let us know. But I would like to call out Mel Wright with the Wright Village. So she's one of the people that I met early on after we'd kind of merged, but I was kind of stepping into the adult support space. And I met Mel. Man, she's just been such a touchstone for me. And she's doing some really, really incredible work in Raleigh.
Okay.
So
Mel, you're up. So
Mel, you're up.
Yesterday
I just saw her
when
last night.
seen you and you was like, to me jokingly, but you still did it. Now I'm coming back at you. You're up now. So come on to TDS Radio. I'll make sure I reach out to you, and I'm going to show you this clip so that you know that you were tagged
Mel's
by
my girl.
Anjanette.
All right.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know if you had another question.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
You said this is the last question before we get about it.
Did I say that?
You
I
did.
say that.
She
I'm
does
tired.
listen.
Yeah, I'm tired.
We listen.
And we got so then tomorrow, if anybody's
Listen,
interested and you're interested in coming in, the siblings will be running the cohort tomorrow. So Kim will be there tomorrow, and she will be talking about marketing, how to draw leads, how to make things interesting for your leads so basically you can go get customers. And then we're going to be showing that also with social media. So how we do what we do with social media. So I get to work underneath my little sister tomorrow.
The Sids are in the house.
Get to work.
So yeah. So this is TDS Radio. Once again, any type of information that you need, you can always hit us up at info@tdsradio.com. And if you want anything as far as Echo,
and on the website.
I'm sorry, and the website is www.tdsradio.com. And we did put the Echo website in the chat.
We did.
So then you can make sure you can hit me up there. You can hit Anjanette up there. And then we also have Deanna and we have McKinley. McKinley does stuff with marketing. And then we have our chief of staff, Deanna, which she's amazing too. So anything that you need help with CRM and all that stuff, that's the person to go to. So make sure you reach out. Let's keep this connection going. This is TDS Radio, our voice, our culture. Oh, the playback. I'm sorry. Playback will be on Thursday if you want to hear this all again.
Well, yeah, on TDS Radio, but the interviews will be up on our website tomorrow.
Yes. So they'll be on the website. And then if you want to hear the interviews just playing on the radio station, which we want you to download the app.
Because you know what? Let me tell y'all something. Real quick. I'm sorry. I work my tail off for this music curation on our website. I mean, on our radio station. So I want you to take the time because I specifically select music that I know is just going to just give you the ooh-ah sensation or a little bit of nostalgia or just a song that you're like, I haven't heard that in a minute. Let me turn the radio up. So I need y'all to go to Google Play or the App Store, download the TDS Radio app and actually listen to the music. Okay?
There it is.
That's it.
Then you're going to hear a little programming.
Yeah, hello.
All right.
Promise.
Have a good night. Peace.
Bye.